Hi 3G, so we are moving on to 18.2, which is about congruent figures. Now, unfortunately, we are doing this digitally because this is one of my favorite lessons to teach in class, but we will make do. So we are going to be learning about how to slide, flip, and turn shapes today. And then tomorrow we will get into congruent figures, but today we're just going to focus on the beginning, the slide, flip, turn, and rotate. So, plane figures can slide, flip, and turn. You can move them in all different ways. So imagine pushing this figure from here to there. That's like a slide. So the dog is here and it just gets slid over into a different area. So if you envision drawing on grid paper and then just sliding that figure across into another spot, that is what a slide is. So the figure of the dog has been slid along from left to right. To slide a figure is to move it along in any direction. So if we take a look at this dog here, it could be slid up or down or diagonally down, as long as it's not changing any of the size or things like that for the animal, it is going to be considered a slide. So it has to stay the same. If we go back and look at this, nothing about the picture is different. It's just slid across. All right, now the next one, I hold the letter D in front of a mirror, the image in the mirror is like the back side of the letter D. So this is a flip. So a flip happens over a line. So you see this line right here, and there's also a line right here. So they are taking the letter D and they are flipping it across that line. So imagine this is like the hot dog fold that we do in science with a piece of paper, okay? It's folding along that line that way, and then this one's getting folded like the hamburger fold, okay? So it has to fold exactly along the line. And if you notice, it's the same distance from each of the lines. So it's showing that it's not sliding at all. It is just flipping exactly across that line. So the letter D has been flipped over a line. To flip a figure is to turn it front to back over a line. So that's what we just covered. So far we've done the slide and the flip. The next one we're going to look at is a turn. So a turn, the biggest thing you need to focus on is there will have some sort of point. So if you look at this orange circle, that is the point that it is turning around. So imagine basketball players, if you've played basketball, how you are not allowed to travel. So you put one foot down and you have to pivot around. So one foot stays and the other one is moving you in a circle, okay? This is kind of like that. So you have that one foot down or that one circle area, and then everything gets spun and turned around that circle. So the figure of the sheep has been turned through a half turn. So it has moved halfway around that circle. To turn a figure is to rotate it about a point. So a turn, and if it tells you to turn or rotate, it's basically the same thing, okay? So we've done flips, slides, and turns are movements that change the position of figures, but the shape and size of the figures remain unchanged. So that's the biggest thing. The shape and the size of these figures is not changing. The only thing that is changing is where it is located. Okay, and we are going to get into what it means to be congruent, but we basically just touched upon it. So two figures that have the same size and same shape and size are congruent. So if they are not changing, which all of these that we just talked about, they cannot change, then they are congruent figures. They're the same size and the same shape. So if we take a look at this, now obviously we cannot trace these figures and cut them out, unfortunately, since we are not in school, but we are just trying to think about slides here, okay? Now, the thing I want you to keep in mind is it the same size? Is it the same shape? And is it just moving in direction? It's not turning at all. So we're just thinking about if this is a slide. Okay, so set A, that arrow is just sliding upwards. It is going in this direction, and now if you notice, it is the same size and shape, so this counts as a slide. So this one we can circle. Now set B, same thing, it is sliding now in an upright direction. Now it's the same size and same shape, so this is considered a slide. Now if we look at these two triangles for set C, this is getting moved, but it is also changing size and shape. So this does not count as a slide. These shapes would not be congruent based on what we talked about on the last slide. They have to stay the same size and shape. Now the next one, again, cannot cut them out, so we will do our best, okay? So now we are looking to see if these are a flip. Now remember, the flip is flipping over that line. Think of it like how we fold those papers. So set A, it is being flipped along this black line. Okay, so you want to think if you had this on a sheet of paper on one side and you folded it over and it was almost like a stamp, would it have the exact same imprint on the other side? Now set A, if we flipped it over, that would work. So that is considered a flip. Now set B, okay, this one is doing the hot dog fold. So if we flip this over that line, that one would be all the way up here. So that does not work. This is not a flip. These shapes are not congruent. Now set C, it is again flipping along that hot dog fold line. So if we think about it, if we folded it in half that way, would these line up? And it would. So this is a flip because they're the same size and shape, and they would line up if they were folded along that line. Now, last one we're going to look at on this page, we are deciding if these are turns. Okay, now remember, like I was saying, so a turn, you're looking at that point. Think of it, if you're a basketball player, that pivot, you have one foot down and you have the other foot that spins. Okay, so we want to think based on this point, if we turn this shape, okay, would it be congruent? So yes, this shape is congruent because it is the same size and same shape, but technically if we turn this around either way, it would not line up exactly. So this one has a flip and a turn. So this is not what we're looking for yet. So this is not going to be considered a turn. Now set B, here's our point, and we're thinking it's rotating around, and these would line up exactly. They're the same size and same shape, so we would circle these. Now, number 9, you should look at this one right now and notice that it is different from the other two. And anytime you see this line, this should clue you in that this is a flip. Okay, so this is definitely not showing us a turn. So in order for it to be a turn, you will see these circles. In order for it to be a flip, you will see that line. Okay, and now a slide, there won't be much. It's just moving across that plane area. So you are going to be doing the let's practice, which is on the next slide. Looks like this. And this is the end of 18.2 part 1. Now, for workbook pages, you're doing pages 203 and 206. So you're skipping page 204 and 205 for now. And there also is an additional video on here for you to watch if you would like some more practice about slides, flips, and turns. Okay? Take your time, do your best, and remember to raise your hand once you are finished.